Good morning and welcome back. I'm Abby and this is Handmaker Haven Homestead. Today is Saturday, November 2nd, and today I'm going to be processing apples. I went to our local orchard and got 4 bushels of apples. I will probably end up needing more, but this is how many I got for now. I don't have time today to do more than 4 bushels. I may not even have time to do all 4 of these because I have to leave at around 5:30. It is almost 11 now, I think, so I have to get downstairs and get to cooking. But today I'm going to be making regular applesauce and also what Michelle and her husband Cody from More Than Farmers have deemed razzle sauce. I think that's how they said it. But in a recent video, they made raspberry applesauce. They get tons and tons of raspberries every year. And so they tried making raspberry applesauce, which I will show you guys because I have 2 boxes of frozen raspberries from Azure in my freezer right now. We're doing regular applesauce, raspberry applesauce. I'm going to freeze dry some apples, hopefully. That will be something that I will probably have to go out and get more apples for, just because the cycle takes a long time, and so I can start a cycle now and then get more going at another time. And apple butter. The first thing that I'm making today is applesauce. Now this first batch is raspberry applesauce, but the process is essentially the same for regular applesauce. You just don't add raspberries to it. So I just wash and quarter my apples and then put them in a stock pot with a few inches of water on the bottom to prevent burning. I then put the pot on high and stir it occasionally until they're all soft and falling apart. I then use this really great food mill that we have. My mom got it many years ago. It's the Victorio brand food mill, and we use that to separate the skins and the seeds from the actual applesauce. It's great. You can use it for many other things. I've only ever used it for tomato sauce and applesauce, but it's super simple. After you get it all together, you just put the apples in the top and then crank the handle, and the applesauce falls out into a bowl, and it is super easy. So this raspberry applesauce that I made was definitely not what I was expecting. The raspberry added a good flavor, but it definitely made it more tart. But it's a fun thing to try if you have tons of extra raspberries, which I had a 10-pound box of raspberries in our freezer, so it wasn't a huge deal for me to do. And I canned that applesauce up in quart jars for 20 minutes with my water bath canner. And if you notice, this applesauce is super pink because of the raspberries, but all of the other applesauce that I did was also a lighter shade of pink just because of the apples that I used. I'm pretty sure they were mostly Cortland's, but I just got utility apples, so I don't know exactly what they were. So I made a batch of applesauce here, and I put it here in the crock pot for us to make apple butter. So this will cook here for a while and cook down, and then we will add spices for it to be apple butter. It is the next day, November 3rd. We have our applesauces canned up. Oh, looks like this one did not seal. That's a bummer. It's okay. I might try to recan it. Who knows? We have the apple butter here that's been cooking down overnight. So we will add the spices to it and it will be done. So we had this crock pot on high for a while last night, and then we turned it on low for overnight. It's cooked down to wherever this is, probably like 3/4. I think I'm going to turn it back on low just to let a little bit more of this liquid come off, but I just added the spices. So this is the recipe that we use. It's kind of confusing, but the only thing that you really need to know is the spices. So we just do cinnamon, allspice, and ground cloves. I started out with half of all of these, and then I just added more to taste, and it tastes really good. Now I just have to let some of that moisture cook off a little bit more. Now the next thing that I'm making here is apple juice. I have showed the process of making fruit juices on my channel before. I will link that video below, but it's very simple. I just wash the apples, cut them up, you put them into the pot, and the steam juicer does all the work for you. So I have my apples laid out here. I just sliced them up, took the cores out, and on 2 of the trays, I'm going to sprinkle some cinnamon to see if we like the taste of that better. So the trays have warmed up a bit, and I'm going to open the valve. Here we are. So I just pulled them out, and I'm snacking on a few of them. They're so good. I'm thankful that the skin is not super tough on these. The skin is not super tough on these. Whenever I've dehydrated apples for like apple chips, the skin gets super tough, so you kind of have to take the skin off. But because I don't have to take the skin off of these, it makes it so much easier to make a lot. So I am not going to defrost this because I'm going to do another load right away. So I'm going to put these into jars and go up and cut more apples and restart this. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, November 8th. I spent the better part of yesterday finishing canning all of this applesauce. So I had it in big bowls, and I spent yesterday and I canned it all up, and as well as the apple butter and the apple juice. So this is not everything that I did, but here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 33. We have 35 quarts of applesauce right here. I did a total of 59 quarts so far. So the rest of them are downstairs, minus a couple that I'm giving away or selling to people. Then I got 4 quarts of apple juice. I did a batch of apple juice a couple weeks ago. We don't go through a ton of juice. I've started to try and make some here or there. So I only did 4 quarts of this. And then I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 half pints of apple butter. It is delicious. We probably won't go through all of this. A lot of things that I'm canning this year, I'm going to be using as gifts for people for the holidays because it's cheaper than buying normal gifts. I also have here freeze-dried apples. I tried a batch of cinnamon, and everyone in my family, I don't know if my brother has tried them yet, but everyone else in my family prefers the regular apples. Now, with the cinnamon apples, it's kind of hard to coat the cinnamon evenly. So maybe if there was less cinnamon on some and more on others, it would be better. But I think for now, I'm just going to do the regular apples. So this was a full gallon, and then we got this gallon jar of these. I'm going to put some of these into Mylar bags. I just wanted to get them out and into a container. So as I have said before, we just got all new appliances, and I convinced my parents to let us keep this fridge freezer. So I have some cabbage up there that, stay tuned, I'm going to be making slaw. And this is all apples, minus that lonely jar of pickles. But there are tons of apples in here. Now, I'm kind of bummed that I don't know apple varieties as well as I used to, because I know that some apples will stay for longer. Like Honeycrisp apples will stay good in the fridge for like up to like 1 or 2 months, I think. So some of these apples we are definitely going to keep for fresh eating, but we cannot eat all of these apples in 2 months. So I am going to do some more freeze-dried apples for sure for our family, and then I think a couple of those bags, I'm going to do another big batch of applesauce, and I'm actually going to be either, like I said, giving it away as gifts, or I have a few local friends who were looking to buy some homemade applesauce. Here we have what I like to call raz sauce. So this was applesauce that I cooked raspberries into. So we have, I believe, 5 quarts of that raspberry sauce. There's some more of the red applesauce, and then this applesauce I made a couple weeks ago, just with different apples. So that is why the color is different. So in total, we had 59 quarts of applesauce and 4 quarts of apple juice, 14 half pints of apple butter, and then 2 gallons of freeze-dried apples. So that is everything that I have done thus far. I'm not going to film any of the rest of it because it's all going to be the same thing. But thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you have a great day. Bye.